as it's Christmas Day, I've got a very, very special Thursday episode for you today. Somebody who has been on the podcast lots, but not answered very many questions on at the estate agency consultancy podcast. So today, got the amazing Chris Webb is coming on to answer some questions.
So you know what? I've got the best job on the podcast. Normally I've got the really easy job of just like asking questions and I can just like listen to the other person. But that's a really interesting point. You'd be amazed the lack of talking you actually do when you have your own podcast. So like today I actually have to do some work on my own podcast, which I'm not looking forward to. But here we go.
That's why I thought this is a good idea actually. But between us, we thought it was a good idea to come on and yeah, answer some questions about our year. Obviously, it's been a massive year for the estate agent consultancy. Um, started lots of new consultants, and I'm very proud and pleased to be the first one on board. And I've loved it ever since April. So yeah, before we go into our estate agent content and talking about agency, what have you found for the consultancy side has been your biggest learning curve onboarding us wayward consultants?
Oh yeah, absolutely. Well, it's kind of these things, isn't it? So I had a video call just before we press record today with a potential client, and he is sort of at the same position that we were at as a business a year or so ago. And he's like, I've got a really good business, I'm doing really well, it's better than I thought, sort of thing. But now I want to kind of branch out and bring some sort of partner agents on board. And I was like, oh, Merry Christmas. These are the mistakes that I've made in the sort of process. We can kind of chat them through. And I think that it's a different kettle of fish having your own business and being sort of a one person band, and it's a completely kettle of fish having team members on board. And I think that if I was going to put my consultancy cap on very quickly, which I find very hard not to do on the podcast, is that sort of step one is to look at your business and go, how much of this is in my brain? And how much of this is actually doable by other people? Because it's all well and good having it, oh, this is how you log into so and so, and this is how this works. But if it's all in your head, then what are you gonna do? Like take a small hammer to your head and try and chip it out sort of thing? Like it's not a thing. So you have to have those sort of processes in place and say, this is actually the structure of the business. This is how you get your first client. This is how you log into the CRM system. This is how you set up a Zoom thing. This is how you send your bulk emails. This is how you use ChatGPT to interview. It's like these are all the things you do, and it's kind of getting all that out of your head in front of other people. And I think that, it's having those processes across the board to help you as much as possible. Yes, it's a pain in the backside to set them up to start off with, but once they're set up, you're like, oh my God, thank God they're there. I can just go, yeah, just log into this course I recorded 6 months ago. It'll tell you everything you need to know, sort of thing. Either that, or you end up just always sort of being on call effectively.
Yeah, and I always know when it's something that you've thought of before, and I come to you and say, "Oh, Chris, does this work, or what should I do here?" And if you send it to me within about 10 minutes, I know that you've had it recorded before. If it takes half an hour, you thought, "Oh my God, I didn't think that was in my head," and you've had to re-record it. You've recorded it and sent it to me like that day, wearing the same shirt as you was this morning. There you go. There it was. We had to record that one live. So yeah, and I think you do always have things come up, don't you, that you perhaps not thought of. You think, yes, I've got all the processes, and I love a process, but you can have all the processes and systems in the world. And then someone says, how do you do this? Or what's the best way of doing that? And you think, "Fuck, not with that one. I need to add that one."
Well, I think is it Mike Tyson that said everyone's got a plan until they get punched in the face or till they get hit? Those sort of thing. It's exactly the same way when you're looking to grow your business. You're like, I've got it all sorted out. This is like, bulletproof from start to finish. There's no way they'll get lost. And then like they're like, oh, I've done this. And I'm like, oh, I didn't think about that. Oh, I didn't think about that. Yeah. So yeah, no matter what you do, no matter how well you've planned, there's always gonna be things you're like, oh my God, I need to work on my feet here quite quickly. So you're absolutely right. Luckily, I always wear blue shirts. So it adds somewhat to the mystery about when I record it. Whether has Chris got a suntan or not? Is it winter or summer?
So let's get started on some questions sort of that we put together to sort of reflects back, I guess. The main theme of today's podcast is an end of year wrap, a reflection on 2025 and a look at 2026 in terms of agency, where it's going and how we're helping people as well. So, what do you think the very best agents have done differently this year compared to anyone else?
God, this could be a long list. I'm gonna have to summarize this down, or else you a very long podcast. What have the best agents done? So a couple of things. First of all, the best agents, I mean, no surprise, I'm going to say this, is that people have doubled down on personal branding. I think the best agents are, yeah, I could go onto my LinkedIn page or my Facebook page or my Instagram page, and I'll see the same agents day in, day out.
Yeah.
And it will be the same 20, 30, 40. I'll be see them all the time, sort of thing. I go through my followers sometimes on Instagram, and I'm like, I never see these people. I almost, they're a follower on there, but I never see their stuff, sort of thing. And I think the best agents are the ones that post a lot, and they've got a big personal brand, and they realize that that is kind of where it's at in the grand scheme of things. I think that it's the agents that are pushing themselves to do more and sort of get out of their comfort zone slightly as well, because and that's press, PR, TV, you know, being in the local paper, it's socials, it's YouTube, it's going, actually, I am like both feet into this as much as I possibly can do. And, you know, it's kind of, I wouldn't say it's burn the boat sort of thing, but it's not a million miles off that. It's like I'm jumping in this with both feet. There is no plan B, there is no failure. I'm going to do whatever I need to do to make this work. And that involves me standing in front of the camera 5 times a week and doing YouTube videos and doing podcasts, whatever, then they are absolutely here for that. So that
Yeah,
I
I
would
think
say is, for me, the big differentiator. How about yourself then? What do you think? What are the very best agents on the rental side of things done differently this year compared to everyone else?
so. In terms of going back to what you were saying, I think it's very much, I think omnipresence has been the word of the year. Of like, what my favorite. I love that omnipresence. And yeah, being everywhere. But I think for me, this year it's been compliance, because obviously we're going to have some big changes coming up in 2026 with the Renters' Right Act. And you really notice this year the agents that are starting to panic about that and have perhaps been coasting, that now realize that that's what they need. And yeah, they've really doubled down on their compliance, making sure that they've got all their systems, processes, everything in place, because lettings is just as much, if not more, about the back end than it is the front end and getting those landlords in. It's all very well getting the landlords in and boosting the front end of your business, but if you've not got the back end to back that up, it it won't be any good. So yeah, that's the main thing.
Do you think it's a case where sort of the cream is going to rise to the top? So in a tough sales market, let's say the sales market was terrible, the worst agents, they fade away, unfortunately.
Yeah.
The best agents get better and they kind of evolve and they kind of make it work, sort of thing. Do you think it's similar with regard to the renters bill that's coming through? Do you think it's kind of the best lettings agents will swim in it and they'll be like, oh my God, I'm like the best lettings agent ever and I know everything and you can't catch me out? Whereas the ones that are kind of half on the fence can be like, ah, bugger it, I can't be asked this letting stuff anymore, I'm off.
Yeah, definitely. I think it's gonna be a case of, um, that everybody's panicking about landlords exiting the market, but like you say, I think there'll be a lot of letting agents that perhaps think it's not for me anymore, which is a real shame, because, I'm not one way or the other. Though I obviously work with letting agents, I do think you need sales and lettings to build a successful agency, because they have different things that they add to your business in terms of obviously your cash flow and your business being worth something when you come to sell it. Lettings is the gold. Lettings is the one. So it's going to make a lot of people remove that element from their business that actually is the thing that's giving them recurring revenue and making their business worth a lot of money as well. So yes, I think, like with lots of things in our industry, and again, suppose going back to your point of people that do it really well and you see all the time, and there's others that aren't doing anything, and it's the ones that aren't doing anything whose businesses won't grow. We're very fortunate, and I'll say it lots, but we're very fortunate that we get to work with the top percentage of agents, because they're the ones that want to learn, they want to grow, they want to get a consultant in to look at their business and have a look at different elements of it. And I think, yeah, definitely that you will see the rise in really good letting agencies in 2026. And yeah, the others just won't be around anymore.
So what's one thing that you've sort of personally learnt then that you've kind of taken away in 2025? Is there anything you would have done differently, professionally, personally? What would you, if you had the DeLorean and can go back to the 3rd of January 2025, 88.8 miles an hour, what would you be changing looking back?
I don't know really. I'm not one for having regrets. I think everything happens for a reason, but I think probably, obviously, having sold my business at my sales and letting agency at the beginning of the year, um, it probably would have been to get into the consultancy side sooner because, as you know, obviously, when we had those conversations, taking that leap into the unknown, it's not something that I'd done before. I've been an estate agent for forever. I've never done anything different. So, yeah, taking that leap into something the same but different, was definitely a big step for me that, so, we're having those different conversations going backwards and forwards. And I think that's a good thing for other people as well. Um, I've talked to lots of clients about failing fast. Actually, make the decision, don't have that, um, analysis paralysis, they call it, don't they? Where you just overthinking it. Make the decision, go for it, and you know what? If it doesn't work, have a plan and pivot just as quickly, and do it that way because most of the time it does work and it is the right thing for you. And yeah, this was definitely the right move for me.
No, it's good.
What about you? What's your one thing within your business as well, not just necessarily the estate agency side, but what's one thing in your business that you think, yeah, that was a good move. I wish I had have done that sooner or done that slightly differently.
Well, first of all, before I get into my answer, I'm very glad that you said that the good thing you did was that's and you're like, what you want regret?
Silly failure to say that.
Yeah. What would you want regret? That video call with Chris. God, if I could take that back right now, you're going to mention me on LinkedIn. God, where would I be right now? Well, I'm glad that wasn't one of your regrets. What would I say to myself now? Luckily, the future Mrs. Webb is usually within earshot. She's out at the moment, so fortunately, I can say this without her saying, "I told you so." I think I would have given myself a bit more slack. I think is probably what I would have done. So, the reason that I know I should have given myself a bit more slack, I think my balance for uh, work-life balance has been off, especially recently. So usually towards the end of the year, that's when I'm most exhausted. And it's like, and usually we have our end of year conference in sort of beginning part of December, and for me that's like the crescendo. Is that the right word? Like the peak of like tiredness and like that finishes, and I'm like lie on the floor for 10 minutes. Oh my god! Like thank God it's Christmas soon, and I can kind of recover and whatever it may be. For me, I think that from about September, October, I think I've just been exhausted. And the reason I knew I'd been exhausted, so I never get ill, like literally never get ill. It's one of my few superpowers. I never get ill. And I had a new client who I started working with, and I had a cold or something on our first video call. And I sounded rough as anything. Still, obviously, did the video call. And then about a month later, we caught up again, and I was like, had the flu or something like that. And he was like, "You ill a lot, Chris?" And I was like, "No, I'm like never ill." So I was like, the fact that someone's saying to me, "Are you ill a lot?" is like kryptonite to me. And I think the issue I had is that I still have in my head that I'm 18 years old and that I can go out and I can party until 4 in the morning. I can have a quick shower and I'm like, right, I'm ready for work at 8 o'clock in the morning. And the reality is I'm about to turn 40 years old and he's struggling a little bit on that side. So my routine for a lot of this year has been getting up at 5:30, in the gym by 6 o'clock for an hour or so, then come back, make breakfast, start work a full day, back to the gym for an hour at the end of the day, then go out in the evening, then go to bed, rinse and repeat, and da da da. And it like, I think that I wouldn't say I can't do it. I mean, if Jason Bull was on the video call right now, he'll, "You can do it, Chris. You can pound that gym for me." But I just don't think I can cope at that sort of level for long periods of time. If you said to me, "Chris, get in really good shape and work really hard for a couple of months or so," I could nail my head down. I could do it. Can I do it for 6 months to a year at a time? Probably not. And even when I was speaking to Bronte a while ago, she was like, "You just seem like really grumpy." And I was like, "I'm not a grumpy person at all. Like, I'm quite fun, I'm quite enjoyable, and I'm like dicking around and laughing, all these sort of bits and pieces." And she's like, "You just seem like grumpy." And I'm like, "I am too young to be a grumpy old man." So for me, this is a very roundabout way of saying, I think the biggest learning that I've got or had this year is that I need to kind of respect myself. Is that the way? Give myself boundaries and go, actually, you need time to rest and recover. And you need time to sort of, just chill out for an evening, watch some Netflix. That's absolutely fine. Like, that's not a drama. It doesn't mean you're moving backwards at all. But just buy yourself a little bit of slack here and there. It's
Yeah.
okay just to rest and recover and have a little bit of a break now and again. It doesn't mean you're not working hard or working less sort of thing. It's just all part of the game. So I think if I could go back in time to Chris Webb, 1st of January 2025, yeah, we're in 25, aren't we? Yeah, 25. Um, I would say to myself, schedule in time in your diary to kind of recover and get over things and give yourself time at home now again, just to kind of relax and sort of to take a breath. So give yourself a little bit more slack.
Yeah, definitely, and I don't know about you, I feel like I've had that conversation a lot with agents as well, with clients, definitely not necessarily practicing what we preach there.
Oh, 100%. Oh, yeah. I will hold my hands up and say I've done multiple posts about work-life balance, and I've said, "Yeah, guys, buy yourself time and, have time in your diary, rule it out." And literally, I remember we went to the RAND conference, last week, and that was my recovery day from our post-conference, and as soon as I spoke to Sarah, she was like, "You didn't have the RAND conference?" I was like, "Yeah, delete out that recovery day, put the conference delete." Yeah. Yeah, literally, I was like, I need to go to it." So, it's one of those things, but yeah, I'm very aware that that is, hypocrisy at the highest level from myself.
And have you seen any others? Because obviously that was one of my questions for you really, sort of what was the most common mistake that you've seen agents repeat again and again this year? And I think that probably is the one for me that, it's quite easy to get in that pattern. So when I first go in to see a client and we set up that system of, okay, this is what it's going to look like for the next, we don't like to go too far in advance, but say 3 months, and we work up to that so that come end of month two, they're where they need to be. They've got that balance. Their things are working out in their business, and we're putting things in place. And then actually, then when you get to towards the end of month three, they've made that same mistake again in because business has done well. They've taken lots more on and they're back in that position of they've got no time for themselves. So they're just each quarter they're just reversing all the thing. They're just going through the same motion over and over again. What sort of sales side is there anything sort of the most common mistakes that you see people repeating?
I mean, I think burning the I mean, obviously, I work with mostly self-employed estate agents as the business. I would say 95% of all my clients are self-employed estate agents, and they are the life and soul of the business. And they are, text them at 8 o'clock at night and 6 in the morning, they'll come back to you sort of thing. I have to be really strict on my phone because if I didn't, like, my phone would just buzz all night. Like, I've got clients who are like, "Oh, I go to BNI, can I voice note you at 5 in the morning?" And I'll be like, "Yeah, fine. Like, my phone's gonna be on airplane mode to 8 o'clock, but you can voice note me at 5 in the morning. I'll get it at 8 o'clock," sort of thing. And the same again at sort of, 5, 6 o'clock in the evening, phone goes on airplane mode. So I think the mistake that agents make is it's very easy to blur life and work, and it just comes sort of this gray mush of like, am I working? Am I not working? Am I kind of in? Am I kind of not? That's one thing I think I've done moderately well is that I have a clear line that when I'm working, I'm not working. I never kind of like drift into working, but like I'm not really into that. But I think that the mistake that many people make is it's like, oh, just one more email. I'll just check that. And I think
I think you do that really well because I think for somebody who um is running their own business effectively. I know that obviously there's a few of us now, but everybody's in their own home doing it. You work from home, you run a business. You're really good with your setting your times, your boundaries, and your working day. And I think that is definitely something that lots of people struggle with.
I think the hack here is that as soon as so let's say, for example, I answered the phone call at 5 o'clock on a Sunday, for example. As soon as I've done it once, that person who phones me is like, oh, Chris answers his phone at 5 o'clock on a Sunday. I can phone the next day and I know he'll take that call. So even if you are working on a Saturday, for example, so there's been times where I was like, oh, Bronte's out doing X, Y, and Z. I'll just, do some work for an hour or so, pop to the pub and, sit the headphones in sort of thing. I will never have outward going communications in those hours. I will schedule everything for 8 o'clock on a Monday morning. And bless Shanae, who we work with, she must think that like 8 o'clock on a Monday morning, I press send like 50 times on the email because everything is scheduled for 8 o'clock on a Monday morning. So as soon as you allow people to kind of into that part of your life, they're like, oh, that's okay then. Like I can just that. That's the easiest. That's the least friction I can go for. It's just phoning you on a Sunday at 4 o'clock. I know your answer. I know we can have a chat, and I can get through that. Whereas if you actually never open that door up completely, and I think the many agents struggle with saying no to clients to start, especially when you're brand new. They're like, "Oh, I'm 24/7 and here's my mobile number and call me anytime you like. You can phone me at 10 o'clock at night and I'll take that call." And I spend half my life saying like, "No, no, you don't do that. Like you literally don't do that. Like do it for like 6, 7 in the evening, whatever, before dinner, after dinner. But after that time, put your phone on airplane mode or put it on do not disturb if you've got like the same phone for personal. And but as soon as you message back once at 7:01 or 6:01, people are like, "Oh, it's cool. That's fine.
Yeah.
I can just do it." So you have to be strict with yourself so that other people see that's the way it's to be.
Yeah, and it's definitely something that I done as an agent, self-employed and owning my own agency was the whole 24/7 thing, and I think actually that's the worst. The biggest mistake I made in my agency was saying I was available 24/7.
Yeah, good, but I think that's a change of mindset over the last, probably 5 years or so. If you go back 5 years ago, there's a lot of stuff online like grind culture and, yeah, work hard and, at the grindstone. I'm out there, like, hustling and all these sort of bits and pieces, and it was almost, like, glamorized to be like, "I work 24/7 because
Yeah,
I'm doing it." Now, like, the flex is like, "Yeah, I'm taking a Friday afternoon off to go pick my kids up from school." Like, that's the flex. That's where you need to
yeah.
be.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. So, what skills do you think become more important in 2025 and what's become less important? Because obviously you've seen lots of changes. I mean, it's been another year of up and down in terms of the market, and we've had late budgets and lots of different things going on. So, what skills do you think have been particularly important this year and some that have not been so important?
I'm going to answer this question in a way that probably most people don't think I'm going to answer it. Most important skill this year is, excuse the expression, I can swear because it's kind of my own podcast, not giving a shit what everyone else thinks about you and your business and what you're doing. So there's you sort of talked about the analysis paralysis earlier. I'm sure there's some sort of social paralysis sort of thing earlier. You're like, oh my God, my hair and makeup's not perfect, or I sound funny, or I look funny, or the wind's blowing in the wrong way and it's messing my hair up, or my clothes are a bit creased today. Like there's that people think to themselves, oh, I'm gonna look stupid or I'm going to sound stupid, or oh, I don't like that picture. I don't put myself on social media. Oh, I don't. And you think to yourself, okay, what's more painful? Is it putting a picture of yourself on social media saying, here's some tips and advice about how you sell your property, or is it turning around to your partner, husband, wife, girlfriend, whatever, and saying, I'm closing down the business because I don't want any leads coming through?
Yeah.
And so the biggest thing that, I would say to people, no one gives a shit about you. I've sworn once, so I can swear twice. No one gives a shit about you. They don't care about your business. They give you very little mindset in their mind about what you're doing, what you're not doing. Go nuts. Like the world is you want to do a YouTube video, you go do it. You want to do a podcast, you go do it. You want to do pictures yourself on the internet, you go do it. Trust me, no one cares. Literally no one cares. Yes, you might occasionally go down the pub with your mates and they're like, oh, I saw that video, you look like a right muppet. Fine. No problems at all. My friends say to me all the time, they're like, "Oh, I see you on socials." I'm like, "Don't follow me." I'm like, "Don't follow me on social media. I've got."
You're not my target audience. I don't need you. I don't need you.
It's like, "Actually, you'll follow me and you'll unsubscribe within, like, 2 days. Like, we're banging out the content left, right, and center. You are not my target audience in any way, shape, or form." You'll think, "Who is this muppet?" really quickly. One of my friends, accidentally liked one of my YouTube videos a while ago, and now he's like, "Oh, for Christ's sake, all I see is your videos on YouTube." And I'm like, "Mike, you've done it yourself, mate. You've kind of waved a hand and here we are," sort of thing. So, for me, the biggest thing that agents should focus on, the biggest kind of superpower you can have in your business, do not give a monkey's what anyone else thinks. Like you are living your life. Like if the true test here. So okay, I'll ask you a question, Rachel. Rachel, what did your father do for as a job?
My dad's a foster carer.
Okay, what does his dad do?
His dad was a I don't actually I think my granddad was a little bit of a jack of all trades, right? I don't actually thought he had an actual profession.
What about his dad? What did he do?
No, I have no idea.
Okay,
Also, actually do know that, but it's probably not one for the podcast. My great grandparents owned a nudist camp. There you go. You didn't expect the podcast to go there today, did you?
he had that on their bingo card.
Well, I had that, but after that, I have no idea, and I'm sure that isn't all he done.
So, so So we know that within 2 or 3 generations, no one really has a clue what anyone did, what they looked, what they sounded like. So for me, my dad owns a landscape gardening business, or did own a landscape gardening business. His dad had like an engineering shop sort of thing, and I think his dad had a butcher's.
See, you see the difference. Chris has a nice, normal family line, and I do not.
but my grandmother was a serial killer. No, so you can see that after a certain period of time, everyone forgets anyway. So people are so worried, like, oh my God, what is everyone like? It doesn't make a difference. Like you're one of 7 billion people, maybe 8 billion people on the planet now. Like no one cares. So literally go nuts. So for me, the biggest sort of mistake and the biggest skill that people can have in 2025 and 2026 as well is just don't care what other people think. Like no one's thinking about you, no one's thinking about your business. You are thinking about your business. You are overthinking what everyone thinks about you, how you look, sound. Don't worry about that. Literally just do what you like. I'm very aware that I do some cringy ass content, and you know what? I don't care. There'll be some plenty more cringy content coming next year because I think it's good for the business. So there you go. That would be my big sort of big thing. So I kind of turned into a bit of a rant there, should point out. So the same question to yourself then, Rachel. So what's the important skill that became a big thing in 2025 and what became less important, do you think, in 2025?
So I think it's probably been growing, again, a bit like the 24/7 um, mindset. I think this one has been growing and people have got more and more used to it. But I think saying no to the wrong people to working with, I think when you're a new business, you'll say yes to anyone. You want that business, you want that client. And actually I think it's been really important this year because every client costs you money. Every landlord costs you money. And then obviously for sales, e even more so, and until it completes, you're paying out for marketing. I know a lot of agents do like sort of an upfront marketing fee now, but you're paying out so much before you get anything back. You wanna make sure that you're working with the right people, and I think in 2025, it's become more important than ever to say no to the wrong people. If you don't think if that landlord doesn't agree with you with price, how you're gonna market it, what tenant type you're gonna get in the property. That landlord, you could be working with them for the next 5, 10 years. You don't want them to be fighting against you and your values for that 5, 10 years. It's only gonna cost you time, money, and energy, and I think that has been really important this year to work out who your ideal landlord is. You don't have to work with everybody. There are hundreds, I know probably somebody who's better at stats and data would know exactly how many landlords there are in the UK. I don't know that. But there's hundreds and thousands of landlords in the UK. You don't have to work with all of them. You just need to work with the ones that are right for you. And it's definitely something that I've learned in consultancy as well. Obviously in the estate agency business, we learned that the hard way. And then I started this business the same way in terms of y you want an agency to work with, and I wanna be able to help people, but actually I've got a certain skill set, and that matches a certain agent's needs, letting agent's needs, and putting those 2 things together is when it works. It's no good me, my tech skills, it's no good no good me saying to somebody who needs tech and ChatGPT guidance on no point me going in there and saying, "Yes, I can help you," or for them coming to me and saying, I want you to do this, this, and this," and that's not my skill set. So actually saying, "Unfortunately, I'm not the right person for you, but this person might be," and it's exactly the same with landlords and I think probably you'll agree with the sales stuff because I know you're a great believer of if it's got a postcode and a pulse, people say, "Yes, that's you. That's your number one saying." So yeah, I think that's been the most important thing for 2025.
I think that shows the maturity of business as well, 'cause you're absolutely right. When you first start, you're like, "Yep, you're warm still. You've got a set of house keys. Fantastic. You're my ideal client," sort of thing. Whereas when as an estate agency business grows, you're kind of a bit more like, actually, it's gonna be sort of short-term gain, long-term pain. Because yes, you might be like, "Oh, I got another one on the board, and yeah, got another instruction, it's one new road." But then in 2 weeks' time, you're like, "Oh my God, one new road have phoned me 15 times today. I'm gonna disinstruct them. They're a pain in my ass." Like, you've just like the win was for about 10 minutes, the pain was for like 6 months. So it's kind of having that maturity. I think especially what I'm seeing in self-employed estate agency, agents getting better and better and better at that. And I'm over the moon that agents charge an upfront fee as well. I think it's absolutely the right thing to do. I don't think you should be working for free for anybody. And the fact they're kind of choosing their clients more and more who they work with and kind of finding their tribe, like I'm absolutely 100% here for.
Yeah, yeah, me too. So wh- when obviously you've seen a lot of agents this year, what's one thing, if you can narrow it down to one thing, that agents massively overcomplicate in their business that really doesn't need to be that hard, and that I maybe think a bit too much about?
I would this is an easy one to answer. This is like the easiest of all the questions to the
Can read your mind. I know what you're going to say already.
okay. If I stopped an estate agent in the high street and said to them, "Hi, can you just give me like a quick 30-second chat about how the market's going at the moment?" They're like, "Yeah, it's going okay, and bungalows are selling, but big houses aren't going quite so well. But yeah, flats are a bit painful at the moment because of the regulations and mortgages, etc." I'd be like, "Great, that's really handy." If I then pulled my phone out and said, "Do you mind just saying that again, just so I can film you and put it on my social media account?" They'd be like, I, c- I couldn't ever do that. I couldn't possibly. It feels like so some agents out there, like the camera is like kryptonite,
Yeah.
when really, like it should be your absolute best friend. You have a media quality, cinema quality phone and microphone, etc., in your pocket, which is like an amazing bit of kit that takes billions of pounds of all kind of generated over the years. You've got that in your pocket, and the number of agents who just use it for WhatsApp.
Yeah.
And you're just like, so for me, that is a thing that is really overcomplicated. And I think lots of agents, I presume, if I was going to kind of put of my idea about why they're doing it. I think they must look on social media and go, "Oh my god, these guys are really good." And therefore, I don't want my first video to be terrible. But actually, if you go on these people that are really good and just scroll back and scroll
Mhm.
back and scroll back, you're like, "Oh my god, these first videos were terrible." And you're like, "Yeah, that's where you are." You're chapter one, they're chapter like 50. Like, why are you comparing like with like here? Actually, just start. And if you just posted one bit of content every single day for 90 days, by the end of it, you'd be like, "Oh my god, my first videos were terrible, weren't they?" You're like, "Yeah, they were." But you've got through that now, and that's a better place to be. So for me, the biggest thing that agents overcomplicate is just being on social media. If it's just you in front of your phone, so talking about the property market or talking about a house you've sold or talking about what's going on locally or what EPC stands for or what offers in excess of me, all this bits of information you can give out there, like that is where it's at. It doesn't need to be any complicated than that. What about yourself? What do you think one area that agents overcomplicate? And you can't have social media now because I've nicked that. Go in there quick.
You've done it. So I think one area people overcomplicate is asking for help
Mhm.
on any element. So I don't know why when somebody starts their business, and I don't know why I done it, and I still don't know why. When I started my agency, I done it, and I still don't know why. You think when you start your business, you should know everything about business. You should know everything about everything. And 9 times out of 10, particularly like you say, we work with a lot of self-employed or very small agencies, they've been amazing estate agents, they've been amazing letting agents, and they're still amazing estate agents, amazing letting agents, but they've never run a business before. So why wouldn't you speak to accountants and get their take on the best way of setting that help ask for somebody to help on setting up your business plan, what your first year's turnover should be, just every element of your business, anything that you've not done before, why wouldn't you ask? It doesn't mean that you're not a good estate agent. It doesn't mean you're not a good letting agent or you're not good at your job. It just means you're doing something for the first time. Marketing, so even down to your social media, any part of your business that you have not necessarily had loads of experience in, ask ask for help, like, collaborate with people, work with other people, and have that conversation because I think, yeah, people massively get in their own head of, "I should know it all. I should be able to do this because I've been an estate agent for 20 years. Why would I not know how to market my own agency? Why would I not know how to lead generate? Why would I not know how to do all these things?" Well, actually, if you've maybe been working for a corporate or a different style of company or in a different area, or obviously in that 20 years, marketing has evolved in time, social media. If you've never had to do those elements before in your job, why now that you're everything? Because when you do start your own business, you are everything. You literally do every job in the office from viewings and negotiating offers and getting landlords, tenants and doing the compliance to emptying the bins and making your own cups of tea. I know I've spoken to people who's like, I haven't made a cup of tea for myself for years and then I went self-employed and I had to make my own cup of tea. So if there are things that you don't know how to do or you think you could benefit for some advice and information on, do it. Don't overthink it, don't overcomplicate it, just do it.
Mm. I think lots of people suffer in silence. And there's almost it must be like I don't know if it's like a pride thing or something like that, but it's like when you put director next to your name or whatever you like, owner or whatever you call yourself sort of thing. Again, I think as you take your own business, you kind of is it chief everything officer sort of thing? You just like I do the bins, I do the cup of tea sort of thing. I think that people assume that by default they should know everything about their tax and VAT, but also need to know about lead magnets and how the website works. And it's a bit like, just because you go onto company's house and pay 50 quid for your limited company sort of thing, doesn't mean that all that knowledge automatically goes into your brain and suddenly you are like an all-knowing business owner.
Yeah, and that, obviously, I've said we've all used different analogies, but if you needed help with any other element of, if you're not particularly good at painting or you've not painted before, you'd get someone round to come and paint your living room. You wouldn't do it yourself because you own the house, so you should have to do everything in the house. If you had a plumbing issue or an electric issue, if you're not a plumber or an electrician, you're not going to do those jobs in your own house just because you own the house and it's your name on the mortgage. You're not going to do it yourself. So why would you do that with your business? Just because it's your business and you own the business, you still need that other people's expertise and influence to help you grow and get the best out of it. So yeah, that would definitely be my thing. So what do you think the best agents are already doing to set themselves up for sort of looking forward to 2026? What are the good agents doing?
Planning, 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 and planning. I think now, obviously, there's a limit to how much planning you can do. But if someone came to you and said, what's your goal for next year? They should be like, right, this is my goal for next year. And it's a hard goal as well. It's not like, oh, I want to be a bit happier or a bit fitter. It's like, I want to sell 100 grand's worth of properties. And then you go, right, how are we going to get there? What do you need to do differently from today or from last year to get to that one? What's going to propel you? If you go, I'm going to do more of the same, but I just hope my revenue doubles. It's like, well, okay, well, that's, bit of a fingers crossed strategy. And so it's having an end goal in place for the end of the year, and it's about having a plan to get there. And I think the big part of it is kind of having what I would always see as like a winning formula. So, for example, if I said to you, Rachel, I want to get to 100 grand's worth of revenue next year, and you came to me and say, right, Chris, that sounds really good. How are you going to get there? And I went, well, I'm going to post social media once a day. You'd be like, well, anything else? Like but does that add up to 100 grand? Probably not. Like, can you get a few instructions? Like, yeah, probably. But like, does that add up to it? It's about looking at it and going, actually, what's sort of my winning formula for 2026? And if you go, actually, my goal for next year is to get to £100,000, and how many get to that £100,000, which is 10 valuations a month, I need to do this every day, that every week, that every single month. And if I add that all together over a year, that will equal £100,000. That is where you need to be. So I'm very passionate about people having boring businesses. And what I mean by boring business is I should better set my watch by you. It should be like, right, it is Wednesday, right? Your blog post should be going live in 5 minutes. Right, it's 10 o'clock on a Monday. Your social media post going up in a second. And it should be like, duh, duh, this is just set in clockwork. Thank you very much. And I just followed this for a year and I get to £100,000. That's where we want to get to as a business. So that's what I would see the people are doing today. So we're recording this a week before Christmas. I know that's Hollywood, everybody. We don't record it live.
It's not live. We're not here on Christmas Day. We probably eating lots and
Oh, it's been a great morning. There's so many presents, Rachel. Thank you so much. It's so good. So, what do you think, Rachel? What are the top lettings agents doing right now to set themselves up to have the best 2026?
I think upskilling themselves and their team, if they've got a team, because obviously there are a lot of changes. Come the 1st of May, the Renters' Right Act comes in. There's lots. I don't know if you've heard about that, but there are.
Avoiding it is about to.
Don't know if I've banged on enough about it. Why? Um, yeah, there are going to be a lot of changes from the 1st of May. So actually making sure that you're prepared for that. It's not a case of, yeah, it'll be all right. We'll wait till the 1st of May. You need to spend that time from now until May, making sure you're upskilling yourself, you're upskilling your team. They know exactly what's coming in, because it is literally 1 week link is going to could cause you problems. So yeah, making sure that everybody is on the same page with that. And I think, to be honest, that is a good thing for any year. I think upskilling yourself and making sure that all your team are always at the top of their game and know themselves, they're confident in themselves. And I think it helps you keep team members as well. If you've got a team, I know a lot of agents that we see have a struggle with building the right team for them, and sort of people coming and going, and actually upskilling your team to the point that, again, there is a saying in this, you're probably gonna know this saying, um, upskilling them enough to make them wanna stay. It's a Richard Branson one, isn't.
Oh, I knew you were going there with that one. I could see it coming. I could sense the rinse of Branson.
Yeah, to make them wanna stay so that they could go somewhere else, but they don't want to, they want to stay with you. Um, yeah, I think that's gonna be a really important one for letting agents in 2026.
So looking forward to 2026 then. Let's go glass half full, shall we? What are you most excited about in 2026? I mean, whether that's for the industry or for agents you work with, what are you kind of looking at and thinking that's going to be a good thing? That I mean, you might not say the renters bill at this point.
No, maybe not that. I think it's gonna give a good opportunity for good agents to really show their worth and really show that they can add value to landlords. There's going to be so many self-managed landlords out there. It's a great opportunity for agents to grow the Renters' Right Act. As much as you're going to have to sort make sure your systems and processes and back end of things are all in place. Actually, there's going to be so many self-managed landlords that are going to want your help and need your help. So it's your time to shine, basically. Make sure that you're getting that message out there, like you say, with your socials, you're omnipresent. So socials, your newsletters, everywhere you are, getting out in the community, letting people know that you're there to give advice and help is going to mean that your landlords towards the end of the year. I know a lot of agents are looking next year to almost double their landlords that they've got at the moment, and they've got quite a lot at the moment, but they know all those self-managed landlords are going to need help. So it is a great opportunity for good agents to build their business, and it's really exciting to be part of that. And also towards the end of this year, we've actually seen, which I'm pleased it hasn't put people off, seen a lot of sales agents want to add lettings to their business as well. Again, for that recurring revenue and for looking forward to, maybe if they're never going to sell their business, but looking forward to potentially exiting the business, actually is going to mean that the business is worth so much more. So I weird or not, I get excited about that. I think it's exciting that agents want to do that growth and to see that it is not something that happens overnight, but in a year span, it is a good goal to have. Start working on in January, and then by December, you're seeing all that hard work of actually putting the lettings in place, doing the marketing, getting the right message out there, and then by this time next year, you'll have a good lettings portfolio, managed portfolio as well.
One of those things, isn't it? So, I guess with all the reform coming down the line, is it rough seas makes good sailors, or worse that effect sort of thing? So, one of my friends is a trader by job, and we were chatting a while ago about oil prices and because of the wars, this and all that, as you do. And he was like, it's great. So the more turbulence there is in the world, the better his job is. Because he's like, if it's everything's hunky dory and like it goes from $100 to a barrel to 101, it's like, okay, like where can I make money there? But if it's like 1 minute it's at 100, then it's at 90, then it's 110, then it's 150, then it's 50, like there's money to be made there. So sort of like I would look at it as a lettings agent and go, right, there's a turbulent market ahead with regard to the rental reform stuff coming through. Great. How can I take advantage of that? And I think there's a big want and need and thirst from landlords out there for information because they're like, all this stuff is going on. I just want someone to explain to me what does it mean to me. I just want a normal person to sit in front of me and be like, I'm not in the House of Commons, I'm not an MP, I'm just Barbara, I'm just Bob, and I'm gonna sit down and be like, this is look, 5 minutes, this is what you need to know, this is what's going on with it, this is good news, this is bad news, this is what you bet. They just want sort of like a normal person, inverted commas, to say to them, this is the dramas. But I think that sort of ups and downs of the market coming forward on the rental side of things is good thing's a strong word. The best agent's going to do really well. The not very good agents aren't going to do very well.
Yeah, and you know yourself, obviously I know obviously you work with sales agents, but some of them do lettings and you're a landlord and you've said to me, "Oh, what will change with this?" And I think it is, even people within the industry
Mhm.
need that education and need that information. Obviously, we haven't got all of it, and there's still questions that people, and I've looked at a lot of a lot of the legislation, but still some people will say, "Well, will this change then?" I think not sure they've actually said that, and I've had to go and have a little look at, so it is a minefield. So if you can be that authority and you can be the person, the expert in your local area, then yeah, your business is going to fly in 2026, definitely. What about you? What about for the south side?
What am I excited about? I'm excited about the growth of self-employed estate agency. And that isn't just from a selfish business point of view. We work with self-employed estate agent point of view. I really like it. And I
Yeah.
really enjoy seeing people having a business that they've started from their house, kitchen table, whatever you want to call it, that then produces a great result for their client, gives them the lifestyle they want, gives them the money they want. Like, I couldn't be happy for those people. Like, for me, if I went into, Connell's head office and said, right, guys, I'm going to, improve some money coming into the business, like, great, the shareholders get a little bit richer. Like, it doesn't really like change their life at all. But if you, turn into a self-employed estate agent or you go from being good to great sort of thing, if we can drop an extra £100,000 into your bank account, that's like life changing. And suddenly they go from being sort of doing okay and getting by to like, actually, I'm going on holiday and I'm getting cars and looking to get a nice house. And that has actually changed not only their life, but also their family around them. So for me, like that is the best part of my job and probably the part of 2026 I'm looking forward to the most is seeing agents out there, whether they're working with us or not working with us, to do as well as they possibly can do, kick the pants out of it, be like, oh my God, I've got lots of money, I'm going on holiday, I'm doing really well, making a huge success of it. Like, I'll be like, praise hands, full respect, well done you, you've put your neck on the line and you've made it work. So for me, that's the big thing I'm looking forward to.
Yeah, that will be my definitely one of my goals for 2026 would be to speak to more self-employed agents and try and get them to look at, because I know lettings and the self-employed model can be a bit how it works, and obviously because it's a smaller amount of money trickling in rather than sales, how it works with different self-employed brokerages and models is different. But yeah, to get them to that, because as I say, that will really help their monthly revenue and give them something to sell at the end as well. So yeah, that would be really good. I think like you say, I think the self-employed model is exciting and I think it's something that's growing. We'll see that more and more so in the next year or so. So yeah, to make them be able to get the most out of their business. And like you say, it's things like it's not paying for extra bonuses for for shareholders. It is paying for kids' dance lessons and people to be able to spend time and do nice things with their family, which is everybody's why ultimately, isn't it?
I think we can get behind that. Absolutely. So final question for you then, Rachel. So what do you think success looks like for agents next year? I mean, obviously there's some that are gonna be like turnover, 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 and want to get as much money as possible. What do you think success looks like for an estate agent or lettings agent in 2026?
I think, mastering that. I don't really like work-life balance because I don't think you necessarily have a balance because there's different times of not even not even just in times of your different times of your life that you work more and have more, but I think even different times of your month and your week that you tend to have a different balance. But yeah, getting the right setup for them. I know I worked with a client, she was like, "Actually, I don't want like a month in Bali, I would just like to be able to do my boot camp class 2 mornings a week and know that I can just go, do it, and I'm not got to think about work. I've not got to think about those and I can go and do my boot camp thing. At the moment, I'm running around. I've got no time for exercise, no time for me. And I think it's those sorts of things that we need to make sure that we've got the balance in, not necessarily the big things. It's getting down to the small things. I think real success looks like your boring day to day being what you want it to be. So if you want to walk the dog and start work at 9:30, you've got your business set up that you could do that. If you want to, let's say lots of people have children, you want to finish at 3 o'clock every afternoon to do the school run, and then you haven't got to work again after, you can spend that time with the kids. That's your balance. So just the boring everyday things are actually built in and you can enjoy that balance. It regardless of how hard you work when you're in your working hours, that to you, that's what your success looks like for the year. You get to this time next year and say, actually, yes, I work hard because I think having a business, you're always going to work hard. It's never going to be, I don't think about my business all the time because if you you're passionate about your business and you're doing a good job, yes, your business will always, in some degree, be on your mind and what you're doing. But you are able to go to the gym if you want to go to the gym and say, walk the dog, pick the kids up. If you want to take your mum shopping every Friday morning, whatever it is for you, whatever your thing is that you think that is the thing that would make my life nicer. It would enrich my life. It will bring me more joy if I had done this each day or each week or each month. Um, then yeah, that's what success looks like, I think, in 2026.
Yeah, very good. I think for me, so when I was at school, when I was a lad, um,
Long, long time ago.
a long time ago, it's all gonna say it's all gonna be black and white. It's all gonna be yeah. So the thing that I never want to feel in my life is that Sunday night dread of like, oh my God, it's Sunday night. Like almost what can I do to get out of going to work or school tomorrow, whatever it may be, sort of thing. I never want to feel that. And so I think the real litmus test for businesses is when it gets to Sunday night, do you think, oh, I've got work tomorrow? Or do you think, "Oh, fucking hell, I've got work tomorrow. I've got Mrs. Jones. She's a pain in the ass. I've got viewings. I've got valuations." Do you look forward to going to work, or do you not look forward to work? And I think there's degrees of looking forward to things, but I think the main thing is that you don't dread it, and you're not like, "Oh my God, like, I don't actually wanna go to work tomorrow." And I think that if you're if it ticks the right boxes for you, whether that's work-life balance or money, you might go, "Actually, oh, I don't particularly enjoy going to work, but I'm paid a shed ton of money. If I can do this for 3, 4 years or so and get out the other side, then great. Like, well done, you sort of thing, as long as you know what you're getting into." So I think for me, success in any business or any life is looking at yourself. I think you're looking at your diary tomorrow or the day after and going, oh, actually, yeah, that's all right. Yeah, I can live with that. That's kind of good. And yeah, it might be a bit of hard work, but I'm getting, a certain amount of money off the back of it. And I think that's kind of fair or very good sort of thing. So it's just not having that sort of dread feeling on a Sunday night where you think to yourself, oh God, is the weekend over already? Have I got to go to work next week? So if anyone can avoid that, I'm absolutely here for that.
Yeah. I think it was a high performance podcast that I can't even remember who they had on there. They had a segment on there that said, if you show me your diary and I'll tell you your priorities, because it might be that you're saying, right, I'm prioritizing my family, or I'm prioritizing this, but actually what you've got booked in your diary and what you're spending your time on is what you're prioritizing. So make sure you're prioritizing the right things, and then you won't have that Sunday night dread, because you're prioritizing the things you like. And I'm a big advocate for outsourcing things. So do you know what? There are going to be things in your business that you don't particularly like or you're not good at. So get get yourself to the point, work out your plan, and it may be that it costs money, it may be that it's going to take you time to set up, but work out how you're going to get to the point where you can start outsourcing things, whether that be to a tech system or a person, or however you're going to outsource it. It might be bringing a company in to do it, however you're going to outsource it. But that's the whole point. I think everybody needs to, you need to enjoy having your own business. No one gives up the security of a regular monthly income, a pension, paid holidays. You don't give up the security of all that to then dread going to work because you've got the job that you don't like doing anymore. You might as well go and do that for other people and guarantee you're going to have money coming in and get your paid holidays, your pension, your sick days, and all that sort of thing. So yeah, outsource, work out the things that you'd like, work out things, if there is things that you're dreading on a Monday morning, why are you dreading them? And who else could you give that to do? Or how else could you delegate that you're not doing that anymore and somebody else is doing the thing that you dread on a Monday morning?
Wise words. Wise way. Well,
I do have my moments.
yeah, 100%. We can quote that one. We can go back there. I guess we're in 2026, I reckon. Good. Well, I think that's the end of today's podcast, folks. So I feel like I should be wrapping this up because you did the introduction today. So I feel like we should like tag her. This is where I go, Rachel, you've been an amazing guest today. Thank you so much for sparing your time to come on the podcast and dropping your knowledge. And thanks so much. And we'll see you in 2026 on the podcast. Amazing. So if you're listening to this, you're probably not listening to this on Christmas Day. If you are listening to this on Christmas Day, have an amazing Christmas.
Very dedicated if you're listening to this.
You are like the hardcore. Yeah, absolutely. You've had some really bad.
So just a message on socials to let us know you on Christmas Day.
Rachel, amazing having you in the business. Thank you for coming on today. It's been absolutely awesome. And let's rock and roll into 2026.